Hey, welcome to Board Gems. In this video, I'm comparing two editions of the Dan Cassar tableau building card game Arboretum. On the left is the Z-Man edition, which first came out in 2015. This is in a series of deluxe card games that Z-Man put out. A few others in this series include Chimera and the second edition of Parade. On the right, originally released I believe 2018, is the second edition from Renegade. Renegade also published a wooden box edition with foil cards. Doesn't look good if I'm honest, at least in the photos. Both of these have a bit of gloss on them, which doesn't show up in this photo. The Z-Man one has a sort of a gold trim that you can see, and there's some spot gloss on the Renegade edition. And here's the back. The Z-Man edition nowadays goes for quite a lot of money. And I was able to find this version for cheap, but it's really beat up. The cards were also really filthy, but I was able to clean them up. Hey, check out my board game maintenance and repair tips video. It's probably not great that you can't see any cards on the back of the Z-Man edition. You want to see what the game looks like if possible, not just a paragraph of text, right? But here on the Renegade edition, you can see the card art. It's very lovely. The Z-Man edition is slightly smaller in length and width, but about the same depth. The Z-Man edition's box top is actually slightly narrower than the box bottom, which means the box top won't fit fully flush onto the box. There'll be a bit of lid lift and you can't avoid that. The rule books are similar in both. They're long fold-out sheets. They're pretty much identical, except in the scoring example in Z-Man they use the names Clark, Jonathan, and Martha, and even though it's the same example, they changed it in the Renegade edition to Talia, Yonte, and Rena. One difference is they do really clarify some things that if you were to guess from reading the Z-Man Games edition how things worked, you'd be right. But still, the Renegade edition really spells it out, so there's no ambiguity whatsoever. While the score pads are similar, Z-Man's is a single color. It doesn't have the different colored icons representing the different trees, which the Renegade edition is able to do. That makes it a little bit clearer, easier to find, especially because the names of the trees on the fronts of the Z-Man cards are a little bit hard to read. So it's like, okay, let's score the jacarandas. And it's like, well, which one is a jacaranda? At least you can say, oh, it's the purple one. And you can start from the score pad and go, hey, let's score purple. Whereas the score pad in Z-Man doesn't show that it's purple. Anyway, here's inside the boxes, which also shows the card backs. Renegade's card backs have almost like a baseball logo kind of vibe going to them. I don't know. The Oakland Arboretums. I guess they're not in Oakland anymore. And the Renegade cards are very slightly thinner than Z-Man's, which you'll be able to see a little bit better in the next photo. There are 10 varieties of trees in Arboretum. Here are 5 of them. The art in the first edition is by Philippe Guérin and Chris Quilliams. I expect one of them did the cover and the other one did the card art, but I'm not sure who did what. The art in the new edition is by Beth Sobel. It is now almost a truism in board game publishing now that if you want to give your game a cozy vibe, you hire Beth Sobel. So the difference is kind of interesting. In Z-Man, they're a bit more iconic, but it's a simple illustration on a white background. And the newer edition has a little bit more detail going on. But you'll notice what I said about the names of the tree species, where it's a very sort of elaborate cursive in the Z-Man edition, which can be hard to read, not for like maple and oak, but if you're not familiar with the tree like the jacaranda, then you'd be like, oh, what is this? Now you'll note here that in Z-Man the maple is red, and in Renegade the maple is orange. And you see on the left that Royal Poinciana, Renegade is red and Z-Man is orange. But it's the same breed, same for Willow. So again, you can see the different illustrations. The other 3 breeds are different. The pink magnolia becomes a cherry blossom. The lilac becomes a Bruce spruce. Poor olive. Guess it just wasn't cozy enough. I think they were like, oh, that olive is just too gnarly. It looks like it's haunted or something. We want to go for a cozy vibe. Let's swap it out for something else. The last thing I'll note, I think it's interesting, and I'm not sure what would be considered better. In Z-Man, the numbers are the different colors. and there is a symbol underneath of the same color to help in case you are colorblind. But if you're not colorblind, you don't really need the symbols. In the Renegade edition, the numbers on all the suits are the same. So if you're just looking at the corners, you need to look at the symbols in order to tell the different suits. This is obviously not a big deal. I just think it's an interesting change. I think I prefer the old, but I'm not sure if it's just what I'm used to, it being the standard in older games. Thanks for watching this humble little video. Older games are pretty good, and they still stay good. Maybe some newer games are good too, but older games stay good. If they were good before, they're still good now. Take care.